Claire Curneen was born in Ireland and now lives and works in South Wales. For more than a decade, she's been concerned principally with representing the human figure. She uses this as a means of exploring the relationship between beauty, sadness and tragedy. Her trademark white porcelain figures have a melancholic demeanour and elongated expressive hands. They're built from small, thinly pressed strips of clay, joined together in a patchwork that bears the imprint of the artist's hand. The books in her studio reveal an interest in the work of Piero della Francesca, Gwen John and other artists. Pinned on the walls are poems, various notes and photocopies of paintings. Her Catholic upbringing left a fascination with Christian imagery as manifested in statues. For the last 5 years she's been exploring the imagery of saints, such as Saint Sebastian, and she speaks animatedly about this work.
What I was drawn to in some of the paintings that represents Saint Sebastian is this kind of image of him going through this incredibly awful ordeal, but not being hugely aware of it. He seems to have these kind of in the Piero della Francesca, kind of unaware of its happening. And I suppose my way of trying to treat the subject, because I revisit this subject quite a lot, is trying to play with that idea of the figure almost unaware of its situation. I mean, it's aware of what's happening, but it's kind of dealing with it in a way. And I like the contradiction. I think with the treatment of it in terms of using the gold to kind of represent blood, it has that play and that reference to blood as value and the value we give blood, and the value of life. So hence the replacement of, instead of red, it's gold. But it also has that ceramic quality as well, with porcelain and gold and gilding. They're kind of almost the hierarchy of the clays, almost, which we're told anyway, which is not particularly true. Well, the tree is a more recent introduction to the Sebastian figure, and it acts as a physical support, but also almost an emotional buffer. And the tree is kind of pruned heavily. It's cut, and where it has been cut, I've placed gold, which almost has a reference to a sap or a liquid, which reflects the gold on the body, which references the blood. So the kind of life of the figure, I suppose, is referenced in the life of the tree, in that they're living things. In the actual the trickle of the gold or the blood is recorded almost in time as well, where this one is recorded with the glaze actually just trickling down the surface. I don't control it hugely, but it will dribble more there, and it hasn't dribbled so much there. So there's this play also on time and the relationship of the figure in a particular state of time. So the arrow hits 10 minutes ago there and 2 minutes ago there, because of the evidence of the trickle of the blood, and the blood is represented by gold here, to kind of emphasize that value of life. Blood equals gold, gold equals blood. I'm not reflecting any religious kind of issues that I have. In fact, I'm very much kind of being more about the observer, and because my work has always, or more often, dealt with kind of the human condition and questions about kind of existence and things like that, I found it very easy to kind of focus and look at more Christian iconography, because I'm from a Catholic background, Catholic Ireland, where the image of the figure in its statue form, which is interesting, always on that kind of scale in church places, has always been there. And I suppose it's kind of something it's been in the back of my head, and very much something that I never really noticed as a child going to school and church and things like that. But it's only now that I've started to revisit that and look at the kind of value or the visual kind of richness that kind of those religious, particularly Catholic iconography has. A lot of people have asked that, you know, that I haven't been actually making a clear distinction about whether I'm working with a female figure or the male, or what kind of references I'm making to gender, and you know, and it's a big kind of thing, and I wanted to stay clear of that. I wasn't interested in going down that road. I wanted to deal with more of the human kind of figure. But you know, now it's beginning to, I'm kind of moved away from that. And I'm interested also in the male figures and the female figures within saint iconography. It's, you know, more recently looking at things like Saint Catherine and her wheel and things, and the objects they carry. They start to kind of signify their event or the things that have happened, and they're quite heroic as well. There's some quite interesting heroic female figures, which there's very little of in contemporary kind of society now. I think they're kind of very bland and dull and banal. So it's a really big. It's really a good area for me to kind of take this further as well.